Good morning, boys and girls of grade 3. Once again, this is Teacher Ruth. Today, let's study Grammar Unit 18. We should skip Unit 17 for some reason. Turn on your book on pages 84 to 87. Before we answer your book, listen the correct usage of ought to and should.
This is David, and today we're talking about should, oughta, and shouldn't. So let's take a look at how we use these three things. First, we use should and oughta to give advice or talk about when something is a good thing to do. We have an example. In New York, you should lock your door when you park. So the word should, it's telling you, that's a good idea. Now, for the opposite, you can use should not or shouldn't to give advice or say something is a bad idea. The example, children should not talk to strangers, or you can use a contraction and say you shouldn't drive too fast. So again, should not or shouldn't, something is a bad idea. Okay, next, should and ought to, or oughta, are used for both the present and the future. The example, you should call your mother now. We're talking about something you should do right now. Or you can talk about the future and say, you ought to fix that lock tomorrow. So you can still do it in the future, or you can do it now. Okay, when you use should and oughta, you should always use the base verb after those words. You should study for the test, not you should studies or you should studied. Next one, Fatima shouldn't drink too much coffee. We have just the base verb, drink. And the last one, Ali ought to be on time for class. We use the be verb because that is the base verb. We don't say Ali oughta is or Ali oughta are. Okay, now a lot of people ask, what's the difference between should and oughta? The first difference is that oughta is stronger than should. If I tell you that Muhammad has a 70 in English, he should study if he wants to pass. If I tell you that Omar has a 60 in English, he ought to study if he wants to pass. So should and oughta are both for giving advice. Oughta is stronger. It's telling you he really should do this. Okay. Another example, if I tell you, you should try this cake, it means I like the cake. If I say, you ought to try this cake, I really enjoy this cake. It's so good. Okay. Also, for oughta, it's rarely used in the negative. You can use shouldn't to say something is a bad idea, but you're not going to hear ought not to very much. Okay? And the last thing to finish is I want to work on a little pronunciation with you. If I say this sentence slowly, you'll hear, Ali, you ought to study for your test. But in everyday speech, we don't speak like that. We don't pronounce every word individually. They get pulled together and the words change. So if you listen to how I say it in everyday terms, I say, Ali, you ought to study for your test. Say it again. Ali, you ought to study for your test. So first, you hear ought to becomes oughta. It's because you have two T's. You have a T at the end and a T at the beginning of those two words. The next thing is when you hear me say for, in a sentence it becomes for. Ali, you ought to study for your test. For. The last thing, your becomes your. Ali, you ought to study for your test.
Our topic in grammar today is about should and ought to. Should is used when we want to express our subjective opinion. In other words, what I think is best for you to do. And ought to is used when we want to express an objective truth. In other words, what is necessary and can't be avoided. Here are some more useful phrasal verbs and their meanings. Sometimes phrasal verbs have more than one meaning. For example, carry on, continue, get in, enter, hold on, wait, set off, leave on a journey, stay in, stay at home, put off, to delay or to postpone, go off, explode, look up, check, Turn off, switch off, call off, cancel. Let's get started. Page 85, exercise 1. Complete the sentences. Use ought to and shouldn't. Number 1. Nick's room is untidy again. He blank clean it up. The correct answer is ought to. Nick's room is untidy again. He ought to clean it up. Number 2. Nick blank play loud music when mom's got a headache. The correct answer is shouldn't. Nick shouldn't play loud music when mom's got a headache. Number 3. He blank turn his music down. The correct answer is ought to. He ought to turn his music down. Number 4. Jenny says Nick blank much so much noise. The answer is shouldn't. Jenny says Nick shouldn't make so much noise. 5. She says Nick blank be quiet when she's doing homework. The answer is ought to. She says Nick ought to be quiet when she's doing homework. Last number 6. Nick says Jenny blank tell him what to do. The answer is shouldn't. Nick says Jenny shouldn't tell him what to do. On page 85, exercise 2, read and try to answer what they say. What do you think the government ought to do or shouldn't do? For example, here, Marian says it would be a good idea to pay nurses and teachers more money. They do very important jobs, so Marian thinks the government ought to pay nurses and teachers more money. Number 1. David says making people pay more tax is bad. They already pay enough. So David thinks the government shouldn't make people pay more taxes. I have given here the answers from number 1 to number 4. Please complete the answers on page 85, exercise 2. On page 86, number 3, choose A, B, or C. Complete the sentences. So for example, number 1, Nick has been looking blank his mobile, but he can't find it. A over, B for, C after. So the answer is 4. Nick has been looking for his mobile, but he can't find it. Again, complete your answers here in exercise number 3 from number 1 to number 8. In exercise number 4, write the correct phrasal verbs. So for example here, your dirty boots, your coat, your hat. So you're going to take off. So here given also the number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 answers. So I have given here pages 84 to 87 answers. Please, grade 3 students, complete all the answers in your textbook. That's all for today. We're waiting for your output. Thank you and be safe, everyone.